Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500, welcome back to the Abarth, welcome back to Project Gluey. Today we are going to finish off that back for once and for all. We're going to make sure everything works, get it all connected up at the back on that bumper, get that bumper on, hope for the best that it all lines up, and then that'll be that done. Let's get on with it, let's do it, let's go. Right, it is actually Sunday. I don't normally do this work on a weekend, and I have been doing gardening. I have been doing some plastering of some joints in plasterboard on that wall, and I've also been making myself a little shelf out of pallets I could put me recycling on. So yeah, I've been busy this weekend, lots of gardening, but I've had this out in the garden for a while, for a few days, and as you can see, that's where I put it. There is a bit of glue in there which I will hook out with a knife, and I'll probably whack a little bit of paint in there or something, but I don't think it looks too odd, and it does all work. And that bumper looks fantastic. It just looks $1 million, that bumper, or maybe $900,000. It's not, you know, it's not a factory finish, but I'll tell you what, for a rattle can job, I am so pleased with it, so pleased with it. There's two little marks on it that I'm going to have to put a little bit more clear on. Remember the run I had? It's just, you can see it, if you sort of move your head about it, you can see it. So obviously the clear is thinner there, so I'm just going to whack a little bit more clear on it. I won't worry about that at the moment. But yeah, it's all done. Everything's working, I've tested it all. The only thing was I painted those, as you know, the other day. All I've got to do is polish those up, and then we'll stick those on. So I forgot to actually film me putting the bumper back on and finished it off. So all I did was I taped all the wires up, put zip ties on some of them, just to keep the two looms together. And I took off those spade connectors because they were just complete and utter rubbish. And I bought myself on Amazon some bullet connectors. So I use those instead, much better. Colour coded everything, and put that little bit of black tape on as well, just to tell me that it, or tell me, hopefully, or someone will see black to black. I want my baby back. Grey's grey, yes. So is the car. Yeah, well pleased. So yeah, as I say, I'm gonna polish them up now, and I'm gonna stick those back on. And then we're done for the back, apart from obviously the hatch. You may notice the exhaust is now the same. I'll tell you why. When that bumper was off, I wish I was filming it. I got hold of it and I thought, let's have a little play with it, because I've not looked at it properly underneath, so I didn't know whether something was bent or what. But I got hold of the tailpipe and I just yanked it and it came forward. So it obviously gone back on its mounting. Whether it's probably on the rubber mounting, I imagine. So I literally just got it, pulled it, it pulled about, I don't know, a couple of inches, and it's now lined up exactly the same as the other one. However, I will be changing that. A young lady who came down to me, funnily enough, and I did a proxy alignment for her. She lives about 45 minutes away from me, and I am going to go down there on Tuesday, possibly before. She's got a good condition exhaust. She wanted 125 quid. I sent her a message on Facebook and said, I've got 100 quid, I'll come pick it up Tuesday. She said, yep, you're welcome to it. So that was nice of her. So yeah, not as cheap as the other one, but potentially a better condition than the other one. And it does need replacing, as we know. So yeah, we'll get that. That will be a job for later on. When we come back to the rear of the car. Apologies if some of you thought the last video was a bit on the wordy side, but I wanted to explain and show you exactly how I was doing it. So if you wanted to do it, you could either decide not to do it how I've done it, or you could do it exactly as I've done it. But that's why it was a bit wordy. When I watched it back myself to make sure, because what I do is once I've uploaded the videos, before I delete the files, I make sure I watch it myself and make sure it's all right. And even my wife was sitting next to me and she said to me, "You know, I talk a lot." And I know I'm a bit of a waffler, but we wanted to make sure that you knew exactly what I was doing, and I wanted to show as much of that as I could. So that's why. So if you were a bit peeved by the amount of talking, I apologise, and of course I'm doing it again now. Anyway, so what's next? As I said, got to do those. As I say, as I can't speak. As I say, today is Sunday, so I'm not doing any more. We've got a hatch to do. We will do that potentially tomorrow morning. However, my new project is coming tomorrow morning, so this will have to move out of the way. So it depends what time it's coming, really. But I think what I'll probably do is leave the hatch for the time being. If we've got a day like today, it's about 22, 24 degrees today, something like that. So it's a beautiful day. Ideal weather for cleaning seats and getting them dry. So what I might do tomorrow, now we're all done at the back here, is turn the car around and get the seats out when my car's not there tomorrow. Get the seats out, get them clean, get them dry, and then yeah, that'll be that. So I will see you tomorrow, and we will continue. And there is the finished product even. Obviously, hatch still got to be done, but it's all complete, all working. Absolutely stunning. It looks so much better, so much better. I know possibly not everyone's cup of tea, and I know some people don't like the new lights. In fact, I didn't like those new lights when they first came out. I thought they were horrible, but they grew on me, and I love them now. I think they're so much nicer. It just modernises the look of the car. If it was my car, I'd probably do the front as well, and the lights, front lights, but it's not. It's going to be sold, so that's what I promised you in New Year, that I would do this, and there it is. Next time I do it, I'll just do the lights, and we'll try that as well, because that means drilling holes in the back plates and fitting in bulb holders, of which I've got. I think I've bought them, so I will do that at some point on another car. But yeah, well pleased with it. Right, morning, welcome back. It's the next day, Monday morning. I decided the weather's at the moment a little bit ropey, and it's quite cold and there's no sun, so I decided not to do the seats today. I thought I'd do the hatch. Now, another reason for not doing the seats today is because the new car is coming today, and when it does, I need to move this car in front of the house just to get the new car down here. So I don't want a car with no seats in, really. I do have sports seats in the garage that I could get out, in the back of the garage that I could get out and put in, but I thought, you know what, the hatch needs doing, let's just get that done. So I'm going to do the entire thing on time lapse, and we will come back right at the very end, and hopefully it will look lovely and it will work lovely, etc, etc. So strap yourself in, get yourself a coffee or a beer or whatever else you fancy, sit back, relax, and watch me in quick time do this hatch. Here we go, let's do it. Yeah, I just realised, because I'm taking this off, I don't actually need to put the string through. I've gone to all that effort to do that. I didn't actually need to do it, because of course this is coming off. I need to tie the string to the old loom that's there, where it's been cut. Not just here, which is a bit daft of me, but never mind. We'll just cut it off. So in case anyone was thinking, what on earth is he doing putting string on it? He's getting rid of that hatch. That would be why, because I'm stupid. Anyway, let's carry on. Right, that's it, all done. Welcome back if you just skipped past all that on time lapse, or whether you watched it on time lapse, or whether you paused it and you went and looked at me doing this in real time and a little bit of time lapse on another video. Welcome back to it being done. I had one wire left over and I think, what the hell's that for? It was that one, and I was thinking, couldn't for the life of me think what it was for. Then I realised, oh, of course it's for the handle. And then I spent 5 minutes looking in the car, looking in the garage, thinking, where the hell is the handle? Of course it was on there. Oh dear. The reason I've not put that on is because this is the one. I'm going to have a nice spare one that I can sell as well. I'm just want to check, make sure all the LEDs work on that before I put it on. And if they don't, then I'll swap it for the other one, and which I will also test. But I just wanted to do that first. So let's just. I'm going to set you up on camera now. We won't do time lapse now. I'll set you up and we'll stick something under the brake pedal, a bit of wood under the brake pedal, and make sure it works. Yep, they all work. That's good. Okay, let's get this on. That one, and that one. Right, that's that. Now I've put the headlining back, and I've put the quarter panels back except for one clip on the front there, and I've put the rubber back. Now what of course I haven't tried is the shutting it, so I don't know whether it's going to shut properly or not. I might need to adjust the hinges, so I may need to get back under there, which is a nuisance, but I'll do that with a spanner rather than a socket. Less intrusive. Right, let's try shutting it, see how it shuts. Gap there is perfect. Yeah, it's a bit low here, and a little touch too high there. So yeah, that does need moving. Right, there we go, all done. It just needed a little bit of adjustment on that on the hinge up there. It was when I released it again, it just sort of went boom. So it was obviously under tension when I was pushing it up, and I think it was pushed too far. So it just needed a little bit of a release. So there you go, all done. It's new number plates on. Everything all back together. Yeah, it's good. All done. We've got this back down the drive now. Today is like 30 plus degrees. It's absolutely roasting. So I was going to take the seats out to do it and leave them in the garden, but because it's so hot and they are going to dry in no time at all in the car, and they're not that bad. The carpets aren't bad at all, so I don't really need to wash the carpets under the seats, and of course I can still hoover under the seats, not a problem. So I'm going to leave them in situ. I'll probably take the base out because it's just easier, and then we'll get those cleaned. Windows down, windows open, and just, yeah, let's just do it. Seats are all nice and clean. Not that they were all massively dirty to start with. Back seats out, as you saw me cleaning it on the driveway. got the windows open and the doors open to let it dry out. It's going to dry in no time. In fact, it's almost dry now. Yeah, be dry within an hour. I didn't do the boot mat because I actually did the back seat out of the convertible, as that's been sitting in the garage for a year, more than a year. Getting very, very dirty in there, getting moved around. So I don't know what the water's like actually. Let's have a look. Oh my life! Surprisingly, look at that. It's black. I can't believe that. They really didn't look that dirty. Maybe it's because they're black, but they really didn't look that dirty. But they clearly were. I mean, some of that's come out of that the convertible one as well. But wow, I wasn't expecting that. It's going to smell nice and fresh now as well when it's dry. Already does. It's such a lovely fresh smell. Right, that's that done. What else do we need to? Well, once we got all this back in, and then next week we'll be servicing it. That's the next thing to do on this, is to get it up on ramps, get the oil changed, get the filters changed, and for the first time ever, I am going to do, or at least attempt to do, no, not a cam belt, what do you call it? Pollen filter. Cabin filter, pollen filter, whatever you like to call it. I am going to do one of those. I bought a spanner, the 5.5mm swan neck offset spanner. So you have to take off that panel, and then there's an access panel with a 5.5mm bolt. I think it's just the one bolt. The clutch pedal apparently gets in the way, and I was advised to just use a bit of wood and push the clutch pedal to the floor, which gets it out of the way, which allows access better. So it's a bit fiddly, and I know a lot of people have said, I've seen people on Facebook and that swearing about it and asking, is there an easier way of doing it and so on, but no, there's not. So that panel has to come off first. I say I've never done one before. I've always shied away from it, but I bought I think 3, so I want to start doing them really, because when you do a service you should really change them. So that'll be next week. Same video, so we'll see you then. Right, I haven't turned it into a hot rod. I have got it up on. I am a bit close to the garage, I have to say. I didn't mean to be quite so close to the garage, but I am working today, so I wanted to try and get the exhaust off if I can. I don't think I'm going to have time to get the new one on. I don't know how long it's going to take, to be fair. But so up on ramps, as opposed, I prefer to get it up on ramps, a bit more solid. When I'm pulling or climbing underneath and pulling it around, rather than it up on axle stands, and it tends to be a little bit higher as well when it's on the ramps at the back there. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a look at the bracket where the exhaust joins. As you know, I've got this one which we'll get out and show you. It's in very nice condition. It's got a bracket already on it as well, so hopefully it'll come off easy. I did buy myself a tool to remove the rubbers. Fingers crossed that that works as well. We won't know obviously until such time as we get to do it, because I've always had trouble with those in the past. On the 2 occasions I think it is that I've needed to take them off. So I found a tool on Amazon. I bought it. I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but we thought we'd give it a try. I haven't got new rubbers, so hopefully it'll work and I won't need to get new rubbers. So yeah, let's climb underneath. We'll get a light under there, climb underneath, have a good look at how bad it is, because you can see it just by walking up to the back of the car that it's all flaking off, but I'm not sure how bad it is. I've also bought new shock absorbers. They are arriving today. I want to get the exhaust done first, and then hopefully if I can get this exhaust at least off today, and then tomorrow I'm off work so I can get the new one on. And I can also, once I've done that, I can do the shocks. Once I've done that, I'll turn the car back round and we can get it serviced. And then I think we're pretty much done, apart from the general clean. The only other thing we've got to do is, if you remember right from day one, is that gear stick in neutral is really stiff. Goes into gear fine, it's not a problem. It's just the side to side in neutral is really stiff. So what I'll probably do is take the centre console off, take that middle bit off and have a look and see if it's going to be the cables, isn't it, in some way, whether it's something that needs greasing or what, I don't know, but hopefully it's not going to be new cables, because that'll be a bit of a pain. I've never done that before. I'm not quite sure what sort of arduous task it is to do it, but yeah, hopefully it's not that, and we can just do it easy. But that's what's in plan for the next couple of days. As I say, we are almost then done. I need to check all the tyres, make sure they're all okay, get new ones if necessary. I need to button up the back bumper. Yeah, let's do it. Right. Look at the state of it. I mean, as we know, it is only a... This is making... I'm assuming it's this, but something is making a tinkling noise when the car's moving. I'm assuming it's probably this. Now, it has been on the MOT as an advisory for some time. Oh, pull great chunks of it off. Double skin, it's always the outer skin. There's nothing wrong with the inner skin. The inner skin's fine. It's just the outer. And you could, in theory, just take this off. But I'm not going to. So it might be bits of it that are making it tinkle, or it's banging against the heat shield or something like that. But it's got to come off. So this actually probably would have been easier. In fact, I think I am going to. Once I've got that clamp undone, I'm actually going to take the rear bumper off. It's a lot easier to get this off. Actually, you can't even get to the rubbers without taking the bumper off, I don't think, because they're sort of up there. So yeah, you can't. So yeah, we'll take the rear bumper. Luckily it's not bolted on, it's only slotted in. So up there we've got the bolt, which the replacement one is 13mm. That's bigger than 13mm, so we need to get a socket that's going to fit that. It's probably going to be 15mm, isn't it? So I'm not going to be able to film this really, so I'll do what I can. I'm going to try and film it. Actually, I've got a clamp for the camera, so I'll try and clamp the camera onto there and see if I can do it. So yeah, let's just get that all set up and we come straight back. Let's get some WD squirted on it to start with. Like that. Let that soak for a bit. I'll see if I've got an 18 span. I'm not sure I have. I don't know if you can see this or not. I've actually managed to get an 18mm socket on it. So I don't know whether... I mean, that's the best thing, I suppose, to undo it. Get a bit more. Oh God, you don't need a spanner when it just disintegrates, do you? Oh my God. Look at that. Rust. You've got to love it. I've got bits of this rusty metal that's sticking in me. Right, obviously it might be a struggle to get that to separate, hopefully not. But I'm going to get the back bumper off so we can release these rubbers. Yeah. Quite awkward, but I sort of see how it works, but I'm not sure I can get to this one like this. I might have to resort to more heavy-handed tactics. Let's try it. Yeah, I don't know, I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to have to get the camera out of the way, unfortunately. I'll be back in a sec. Right, I've got the brackets off, so with this one, although I'd pretty much got it all out, it was actually on a bracket that screws onto there, bolts onto there. So although I couldn't get it out the final bit, and I probably could have done if I'd kept it up, but yeah, once it's done that, it just drops off and you can pull it off. The other one I managed to get off, couldn't get the tool on it at all because of the angle. I think probably the wheel and at least the wheel arch liner are in the way. Probably if they're not on, I could have done it, but I've done it by using using one of them trusty gemmy thing. So that's off. So all it's hanging on now is the joint in the middle. So that might be a bit of challenging to do that. It's impossible for me to film under there, really. I can't. I know I did set the camera up on a clamp. I'm not even sure if that actually picked it up or not, but danger of damaging the camera and myself if this falls on me. But yeah, obviously I might have to heat it up potentially to get it off, but so far so good. It's nearly off. I've just got to split the joint. It's going to be rusty, isn't it? But hopefully just, you know, pulling it and whacking it. I whack it with a hammer a few times just to try and loosen any rust. Pushing it from side to side like that, and hopefully it will give. It did on the last one I did like that when I had that fake Abarth, the blue one. That's how I did it on that, and it came off fine. So yeah, I will, once I've got it off, we'll have a proper look at it and see just how bad it is. Oh, it's off. And I've got all bits of rust in my eyes now, even wearing glasses. So look at the state of it. So I say it is only the outer skin. There's nothing wrong with the inner skin, but it needs to go, doesn't it? And then the other side of it, even the other side of it was going, starting to go. So it has seen better days. But then I suppose it's been on this car. It's the original exhaust quite clearly, isn't it? So it's what, 10-year-old exhaust. That ain't done bad really. But it's off. It took some doing. Lots of pulling, arm round it, pulling it, wiggling it from side to side, and it was. I could see that it was gradually coming out. Hopefully the other one will go on easier. Now, I believe that you're meant to use exhaust paste on the join, aren't you? And I haven't got any. I've got some gun gum, but that's not the same thing, is it? So I might have to. I was going to do it now, but yeah, I just need to Google it, because I think you do have to use it. You're meant to use exhaust paste on the join just to make the join a little bit more secure. So I think I'm going to have to leave it off for today. I had a look on Amazon, and it's available for next day delivery, but it could come any time tomorrow, couldn't it? If I could get one delivered today, that would be all right. But so I decided, I had a look on Halfords, and Halfords, I've got it in stock, and it's £4 in here. It's cheaper in Halfords, and I can pop down there in the morning when they open and get it, and that way I can just come back and get on with it. So it's a shame, because I would have liked to have got it on now, but all I've got is gun gum, and that's repair paste, isn't it? That's not for sealing, so I don't want to use that, and it's completely the wrong thing to use. So let's get the proper stuff tomorrow, and then we can attack it first thing once we get back from there. So I will see you in the morning when I get back from Halfords, and then we'll get the new one on. Yeah. Right, here we are, back from Halfords. Got me Holt's exhaust assembly paste. So it says that you use it liberally around the sockets, pipes and clamps. Don't know why you put it on a clamp, but yeah, so I'm going to slap that stuff on the exhaust. Actually, let me get the exhaust out of the garage, and I'll just show you it. It's in good condition. Let me just grab it. Before you all start shouting at me, I placed it down on the ground very, very carefully. So as you can see, it's in really nice condition. Doesn't look that old. Very nice condition. Even a new clamp on it. So it's almost brand new. So that should last a nice long time. I was tempted to treat it with something, but I've been tempted to buy that, what's it called, Lanagard. I keep seeing it advertised on Facebook that you sort of spray it on. You do the entire underside of your car. I've been tempted to use that stuff. Anyone used it? Any good? I think it's about 70 quid or something to do a car. I'm not going to do it with this one, but I just wondered whether anyone's used it, or something similar. Something that's easy to spray on. Trouble is, it's all very well doing these things when you've got the car up on ramps, but not quite so easy when you're crawling underneath it up on just ordinary wheel ramps. Messy job, I would imagine, as well. Anyway, just thought I'd show you the exhaust. We need to lube it up and slide it on. Hopefully that will be quite easy. And it should be easy enough to get them onto the hangers. I'm not going to get the camera underneath again like I did taking it off. I did put that bit of video together tomorrow, and it sort of worked, didn't it? Me showing you what I was doing. But yeah, I'm just going to do it all on time lapse, and then we'll come back at the end when it's on. There you go, all done. Bumper all back on, and as you can see, the shininess of those tailpipes, they have been shined up so much. I think the girl that had this car that I bought it off of really takes pride in her car, and so she was showing it at the Bromley Motor Pageant at the weekend. I and it came off of the car that she was showing. She's obviously got a different exhaust on it. I don't know what she put on it. I imagine a performance exhaust. Hence why she was selling this one. And it is in lovely, lovely condition. Very, very shiny. As you can see, it's on the mounts in the correct place, because we got the same amount of pipe coming out both sides. Yeah, that's good. Well pleased with that. So now no more rusty exhaust pipe. It's all in really nice condition. So I think what we'll do now is obviously I've put that paste on. It does say ideally leave it overnight. I'm going to make a cup of tea. I'm going to drink that, and then I'm just going to. It's probably already gone off actually, because it was going quite hard on my gloves. It is quite warm. It's probably 25 degrees minimum at the moment. So it does say, you know, if you're gonna use it sensibly and don't go racing and so on. So all I'm literally going to do is take it off the drive, move it into the, not off the drive, take it off the ramps, move it into position a little bit more, so I can then get the car up in the air. And then we have the shock absorbers there that I want to change the rear shocks. Whilst we've got those wheels off, we'll clean the wheel arches inside, and then we will also button up the rest of the screws and so on the bumper, because that is now on permanently with the foam thing in, and doesn't need to come off again. Right, car's up in the air, both wheels are off, and we're up on axle stands. Now put the axle stand on the jacking point rather than on the back beam, which I would normally do, because of course when you release the bottom bolt, the back beam drops down, and we will support it on the trolley jack, but we want to be able to go up and down with that when we put the bolt back in. So obviously if you've got the stand there, you can't do that. It just makes it, also when you're doing it, when you're undoing the bottom bolt, it helps to take a little bit of tension off, because the bottom bolt, I think, you know what, I haven't done these for a little while, you can generally spin those off, buzz those off. There's an element of you have to do it with a breaker bar sometimes, or a socket wrench on there. I'm going to grease them all up, not grease them, sorry, I'm going to lube them all up with WD in a sec before I attempt to take them off. They did come up on the MOT as these are a bit scored. They don't, sorry, there's no lip on them. Oh, a little bit of a lip on the other side, but what's the pads like? Yeah, good pads. I don't think these need changing. Now, I would have possibly changed them. The reason I'm not going to is because on the other side, and I don't know how people get around it, there's stuff in the way, unless it's different on a 595, because this looks like basic 500 type discs, doesn't it? Although of course it's on the rear, so normally there's drums on the rear, but I don't know if they're different. I'll have a look actually, because I don't think they need replacing. It's probably going to come up as an advisory on the MOT, I reckon, because they are a bit worn. I don't think they need replacing myself, but we'll see. I'm not going to do this on in real time, because I have a video already of doing this, and if you want to see how to change shocks, click on that video. I'll put the link above. I will also put the link at the end of the video as well. It's on a Fiat 500, not on a Abarth, but they're exactly the same, because of course this is a Fiat 500. So much to the dismay of a lot of Abarth owners who don't don't like to think of their car as being a Fiat 500. But yeah, anyway, let's get on with it. I'll set you up on time lapse. We'll do the other side first, just so I've got my tools over that side. Can't even remember what the sockets are. I know the sockets are different front and back, top and bottom, but I can't for the life of me remember what they are. So let's just do it. Let's get on with it. We might come back in at some point once I get them off, or once I get one off and have a look at it. But yeah, let's do it. Right, that's the shocks done. It's such a quick, easy job changing rear shocks. Really is easy and quick. Assuming the bolts come undone, which they came undone lovely. They're probably the original shocks, to be fair. They might be on the second pair, I suppose. I'm not sure what make they are actually, I'll have to have a look. But nice new shiny ones now. I've cleaned the brakes up, as you saw. I don't think these brake discs need doing. They are a little bit on the scored side, but there's nothing much, and there's not much of a lip. Maybe a little bit more on the back. But yeah, I'm not gonna, unless it fails the MOT, I'm not gonna bother doing them. I don't think they need doing. And there's plenty of juice left on those pads there. Yeah, more than 3/4. I'll put the old copper grease around there. Same on the other side, as you've seen me do it on time lapse, but again, same thing on here. Tiny little lip, nothing much. They are a little bit scored, I suppose, but nothing that needs doing, I don't think. Now, what I was saying about bolt, if I can get in here and show you. So obviously, to take the disc off, you have to undo these bolts. I don't know if I'm getting this in. This bolt here, and this is in the way. So I think the only way to get around it is to take the hub off, which seems a bit excessive. But I'm not sure how people do it otherwise. But that's the only way I can see that you can do it, which is a pain in the arse just to change a brake disc. So if I have to do that, you know, I will do it. But we'll see what the MOT comes back with. This has obviously been replaced. This must be a new. Not new hub. The hub itself doesn't look new. Maybe it's a new wheel bearing or something, and that was put in. That was obviously part of it, I guess. So yeah, right. That's all done now. Wheels back on. Just got to let it down off the jack, and then we'll turn it around and give it a service. So this is the old shocks. On both of these fell out. So there's nothing split in here. There's no split rubber, but I guess it was just. For them to fall out, obviously quite loose. That one was very loose. It's always the shocks themselves. I mean, they're a bit crusty, surface rust, but a bit crusty. But it's always the seems to be the top ones rather than the bottom ones. But it's always the rubber mounts that go, isn't it? And I know you can put new mounts in it. You can get poly bushes, but you've got to have something to push them out with and put them in. And the poly bushes are more expensive than a set of shocks. So. I guess it will make the shocks last for longer, so it is worth doing if you're keeping a car. But of course, this is going for sale, so it wouldn't be something I would bother doing. And I haven't got a press anyway, so yeah, I'm not sure whether these are the originals or not. It doesn't say Fiat on them. I don't think they're so gunky. It's difficult to see. Yeah, not sure what they are. Anyway, they're knackered, so they're going in the bin. I can't get it up on ramps, unfortunately, due to the bumper. It's too low. And it's I can't even get the ramps underneath, so it will damage the bumper if I try and do that, so I'll have to jack it up and put it up on stands instead. I've got the air filter out and it's virtually new. They don't need replacing. They really don't need replacing. Look, it's virtually new. There's not a mark on it. I can't see any point in replacing that. I really can't. It's as good as new. Now, I'm not quite sure. I think all this has got to come off to get to the oil filter. I think that's the oil filter there. Pretty sure you don't do it from underneath. I'm going to double check. I'll have to Google it. But I'm pretty sure this has all got to come off. Seems a bit over the top just to get to an oil filter. Okay. Yeah, let's Google it. Let's find out. I mean, it's not the end of the world to get this off. Oh, what was that? WD-40. Bolt there. possibly a bolt there and possibly a bolt there. I don't know if that's part of this. Don't know, might be just that bolt. We've probably got to disconnect the hoses there, haven't we, which seems a bit OTT. Don't know, I'm going to Google it, have a look, see what's got to come off, because I don't want to take stuff off unnecessarily. Right, I've had to disconnect numerous hoses. That one's got tape wrapped around it for some reason. I don't know why that is. Yeah, pain to get that off. And then there it is down there. It's apparently a 27 mil, and I thought, oh, but I haven't got a 27 mil, but I have. Yeah, 27 mil socket. So hopefully that'll come undone nice and easy, and then the top will come out, and we'll just lift the thing out. As I say, I've never done one before, so I'm not quite sure how it comes out. I can't find my damn torch either. The oil is drained. That's been out a while whilst I've been doing this. But yeah, that was pain. That was pain. Together. I put a new washer on, that's the old one. I bought some of those ages ago, got a load of them. And of course the normal Fiat 500 doesn't actually have a washer, strangely. But at least these ones do, and a new one's on. So it's all back together. I had a right pain, having never done one of these before. I didn't really know what I was doing, but everything's back on, everything's tightened up. I did put the new filter in after all. I thought I might as well. I'm going to keep that one though. I'll keep it in the box and mark the box as used, but okay. So, you know, for emergency use, should I need one in the future, at least I'll have one. I seem to have lost the bung that stops that from coming out, and I can't find it anywhere. It's obviously fallen down somewhere. Hopefully it will just drop out. That's annoying. I'm going to leave that off because cam belt's being done next week, and that'll obviously have to come off to do the cam belt, so I might as well leave it off for now. I've made a right old mess because I pulled that forward when I was undoing the oil filter. It was still coming out of the, dripping out of the sump. So of course, luckily that was down. I've spilt a little bit on the drive, but not too much. But yeah, that's a nuisance. But I'll have to get rid of that bit of cardboard now. But that's why I put cardboard down, of course. There was, if you're wondering what the rainbow effect in there was, that's because this was wet. There's a little tiny bit of water in here, so I mean, yeah, I'd say there's not much more than a litre in there, if that. So hopefully we got no leaks. There was no leaks on the drive or anything like that, but there weren't much oil left in it to leak, to be fair. There was quite a lot. I don't know if, yeah, you probably didn't see it. There was quite a lot in the canister that the filter goes in, so I used one of my syringes and pulled a load out. It wasn't that much, but it was enough. I've got one of those that I use for coolant if I put too much in, and the other one I will now use for oil. They're quite useful, although doing it on my own I had to actually pull the plunger with my teeth, which is not ideal. My dentist would tell me off. But it's done now anyway, so I just need to put the oil in, and that'll be it. So let's do that. So I think we can finish now. We've got one more thing to do service wise, and that's do the pollen filter. That's it, and then that'll be all finished then. At least we can move it around, can actually drive it as well now. MOT is booked for next week on Tuesday. Hopefully we'll get a nice pass. Whether there'll be any advisories or not remains to be seen. Possibly those rear brake discs, and then we may decide to change them or not, as the case may be. That's it, yeah. So as always, if you're not a subscriber, just click on the link to subscribe to the channel, and yeah, give us a thumbs up. And of course, I hope you've enjoyed it. We've done quite a lot today, and until the next one, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.